Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Life on the Ave. We're going to kick it off and get started. I'm here with long time overdue guest, Kelly Little Hughes.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, we're so excited to have her on. And usually when we start, I just kind of quick jump into your bio so that the listener knows who you are, knows the background of who you are. I think most people are going to know who you are.
Are we on?
Yes, we're on. But yes, I think most people are going to know who this person is, but we're going to still jump into your bio. So you just sit back, relax, and listen, and then we'll get into you. All right. So Kelly is the owner of Avenue Cuts, a beauty salon in Wilmington, Delaware. 40 acres, Wilmington, Delaware. We'll get into that. Avenue Cuts was opened in 1991 on Delaware Ave in the 40 acres Wilmington neighborhood and has been open ever since. Kelly was just 23 years old when the salon opened, and she has become the face of the business, and some would say of the neighborhood, ever since. While the salon initially was located on Delaware Avenue, around the corner from its current location, Kelly took on full ownership in 1997, and at that time, she relocated to her current Scott Street location. The original location was larger and had expanded services beyond hair, but Kelly opted for the smaller location to help her with the work-life balance and allow her to be home with her children a few days a week. Avenue Cuts has become a staple in the neighborhood and has loyal clients and supporters while also bringing in fresh faces and new customers weekly. Kelly is a proud mother of two with daughter Madeline and son Teddy. She is the president of the 40 Acres Civic Association. She plays a pertinent role inspiring other members of the 40 Acres, Trolley, and Highlands communities to stay involved in keeping what we have in the 19806 so special. Anyone who enjoys living, working, or going out in the 19806 has Kelly to thank for such clean streets, neighborhood programs, and well-maintained infrastructure that makes the area so desirable on so many fronts. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Woo! Okay, so I've known you since how long? How old was I probably when we met?
I would say you were probably in 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah, because I think we even knew you back from your Bellefonte days.
Well, yes, and also St. Hedwig's. I knew of your family because my mom taught there when you were there.
Right. So Kelly is an Ursuline girl. Her daughter went to Ursuline. Your mom?
Correction. What? I didn't go to Ursuline.
Oh, right. You didn't go to Ursuline.
I should
but you are an Ursuline girl.
I should be a special.
Wait, where did you go?
I went to 3 high schools.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. You tell us. Start from the beginning. Tell us your background, your story.
Okay. So we'll skip that I went to 3 high schools first.
Okay.
So I was 23 years old, and a good friend who I babysat for their children for 16 years approached me one day after I cut his hair and said, Kelly, I got the borrowing power that you don't have, and I think you should open up a business. And I was like, how am I going to do that? I don't own anything. I don't have anything. And he said, let it all be to me for now. We'll figure it out. So he brought
this is like the dad of who you babysit for?
Yeah, the dad.
Okay, cool.
And his name, I can say his name is Billy Healy.
Okay.
And they're like family to me. And he then incorporated his sister and her husband, the Freeborns, and they got together with me, had a meeting. They borrowed the money that I worked and then paid the loans, but it didn't have the power, the borrowing power.
Right.
So they taught me how to do payroll and books and inventory, like everything that you need to learn about running a business. And I slowly then got to a point where in 1997, there's more to the story, but I then was able to borrow money.
Wow.
I had just had my daughter Madeline, and
what year was she born?
In 1996. So she was 6 months old when I took over the business.
Wow.
And it was scary. We didn't own a home. We were leasing cars. We were doing the same thing all young couples do.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was able to do that, and when I decided to do that, I did not want to do it in the 5-chair salon that I did have, which had nails and.
And did they know that? Like at that point, did they know like, hey, she's going to probably move this?
Well, they wanted me to buy them out. Like at that point,
that was always the plan.
It was always the plan.
Cool.
It was always the plan that
That's
they
so
just
cool.
got me
They
up
just invested in you. Like they saw your potential from a young age. That's so cool.
I wouldn't be where I am today if that didn't happen.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe, but maybe not as
you
early.
You would have got there differently.
I was pretty young going into this.
23.
So, and I'm sure we'll touch on that later, but I was young, but anybody can do it.
Yeah.
If you put your mind to it.
Totally.
So I moved, so my brother-in-law owned the building that I'm in now, and I rented the front space from him where I am, and we renovated it when I took over, I was able to borrow the money to make that all happen. And I opened up a 3-chair salon, which then gave me the opportunity to be home a couple days a week when my kids were young.
And having them.
Yes.
So when you made that jump, did you keep some of the existing employees? Like, how did that work going from like a 5 to a 3?
So I was able to bring everybody because a couple of them went to part-time. So they shared a chair, and I tried the manicurist. She came along for a little while.
Yeah.
But it didn't work because my salon's like hair.
Yeah. It's a totally different vibe.
Yeah. It's just come in and neighborhoody. And so I didn't need that. It wasn't a big loss not having that. So I'm a 3-chair salon, and right now it's 3 of us, but there's been 5 of us all there, depending on part-time or whatever. And sometimes, and for the last couple years, there's only been 2 of us. But now there's 3 of us because Rachel, who's been with me forever, just got her license and just started. So she's now the 3rd chair.
Wow. We have so many similarities. So like I attribute a lot of my success. I babysat for Chris Cobb, which is Meg Cobb's younger brother.
Yep.
Kathy Krusch Cobb. She was the head of HR at Barclays, and she saw something in me from a young age. And I attribute a lot of my success to her. So it's so funny. I babysat for her and you babysat for these guys. That's so cool. I see so many similarities. And then same thing, like 6 months, you had a 6-month-old. What was that like? You're still postpartum with a 6-month-old and now you're starting your own business. Like, how was that?
Well, I have an ex-husband, John Hughes, but he was a wonderful father, very involved. So we just he and I we juggled together and we just made it work.
Yeah.
And it worked. I had great people taking care of my kids. I did in-home daycare.
Nice.
With Madeline, and then I did the same thing with Teddy, and I had a village. I had people that stepped up like you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I've picked up your kids
right.
before and
You have your village.
Yeah, we have our village, which helps a lot.
We have a guest coming in.
Yes.
He's a quiet guest. It's okay. No, but yeah, you have to lean into the village. I think that's the only way it works. Would you say, like, did you have, like, were the kids in the salon with you ever? Like, did they grow up in the back? Like, what was that like? What would they say?
So they came and visited, but I really didn't lean on that too much because I thought that it wasn't a place for them. But obviously they came in, they know my clients. Yeah. And then Madeline actually at one point in high school shampooed a little bit for me.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did she hate it?
She probably didn't like it very much. And I did fire her. She was my little jock that it wasn't working for her. No.
And we say the same thing. Like, if our kids want to be in real estate, I'm all for it, but like, I'm not forcing them into this. Like, whatever they want to be, they can be. I love that. So tell us about your salon now. What can people expect when they come in, when they, if I want to get my hair done and I'm looking for a new stylist, like what can they expect when they come in? What type of experience are you creating there?
So I just feel like we're very, very different than most places because we're in a neighborhood. And so most of the clientele that comes to me it's a very established business. Megan, she's been with me now 17 years, I think.
17?
She started when she was 15. She's 34 now.
Sorry girl.
Megan. But
that's so long.
She's been cutting hair almost.
So she got her license
years.
with you.
She went to cosmetology school and stayed one evening a week working. Let me tell you, I couldn't have done it without her over the last handful of years. She would go to beauty school, swing by, grab Teddy at Tower Hill, and then bring him there, work one day, and then get up the next morning and off to school. So, I mean, she was a little go-getter. And I think that's what it takes to start a business is you have to be hungry. And she was hungry, and she's done really well for herself. Yeah. So what you get when you get there is actually just coming into my living room and having a conversation and you get the bonus, you get your hair done.
Yeah. It is. It's such a vibe. And we pop in all the time, especially with the kids. Like when we walk by, they're always getting lollipops. As soon as we walk past your shop, they're always like, lollipop, lollipop. They love it. They love it. But it is such a neighborhood vibe. And I feel like every time I pop in there, it's someone I know. It's someone I'm friends with their daughter. Like you're always texting me like, oh, so-and-so's here. They want you to come over and say hi. It really is truly like your neighborhood hair salon.
Yes. I mean, I don't want to leave any schools out or whatever, but it is definitely a UA.
It's a UA.
is a UA salon.
So, and this is one of our questions, so we'll jump to this now. You don't do any social media, really any marketing.
I have never advertised in the 30 years that I've been in business. Never spent a dime, maybe giving a certificate out or like putting an ad in the Ursulines fashion show magazine. Or like
but making a donation,
that's
essentially.
Basically a donation, exactly.
Yeah.
I just always felt like a word of mouth. And
so that was intentional.
Intentional.
Yeah.
I don't have to because, word of mouth builds your business and word of mouth is the best way to build a business.
Yeah, we totally agree. And while, yes, we're doing a lot of marketing, the podcast, the events, all the other things, the bulk of our clients are what we call like sphere leads. Like I'm not picking up people buying houses off this podcast. The bulk of our people that are coming in are friends with Vince, friends with Jade, friends of friends with Jade, right? Like I would say I'm pretty confident I could go out on like a sturdy branch of like 90% of our business is people we already know.
Yeah.
And we kind of just do this for fun.
And I'm super proud of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should be.
When I go to bed at night and when I wake up in the morning, I am very proud of what I have accomplished. And it has been putting a smile on your face and being kind and people seeing that you're hardworking and, so. Yeah,
and people know what to expect when they come in. Like, you guys, it's like such a welcoming space, good vibes. Like I feel like it's the kind of place where you like leave your troubles at the door, like drop them, come in, take a breath, spoil yourself for a little bit, leave feeling a better version of yourself. Yeah. Right.
And it's like it's actually a win-win. Usually, they say, the hairdresser is like a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
But sometimes our clients are like a psychiatrist for us. It's like your best friends coming and sitting in your chair.
Yeah.
And you have 15 clients coming in one day and wow, some days you just leave and you're like, wow, I learned a lot today.
Yeah. Literally. I feel like you're like always in the know. You probably know when people are pregnant, people are getting divorced, when people like you're probably one of the first people that know a lot of those people's.
I knew when Jade was
which we can say now, Jade is pregnant. Finally, we've been all waiting for her to officially announce it because I'm like, it's killing me not to talk about it. But yes, Jade is pregnant, and yeah, I know that you probably knew before most of the world. But yeah, your salon's in a great experience. I never get my hair done. I've got my hair done 3 times in the last probably 4 years, and all 3 times were with you guys. I just don't get it done. Like it's just not my thing. But when I do get it done, like I know it's going to be good vibes, good energy. It's not like super crowded. It's not very commercial with the bright lights and the you can tons of hair dryers going on. Yeah.
Wear your sweatpants, be comfortable.
You also do a lot, I feel, with like prom. Talk about that.
Okay. So I
told you I'd go rogue on the script.
Okay. That's good. That's okay. I actually, it's cyclical. So when Madeline was in high school, oh my God, I did. And then when you before Madeline was in high school, you were in high school. So I did all of your friends and but now that my kids are, and then Teddy, then his friends oh, my friend Meredith wants to get her hair done, but, so that's cyclical. It depends on who's working for me at the time. I have a new girl starting, Riley. She goes to Conrad. So I'm sure I'll be doing some Conrad girls. So it's kind of cyclical. And then weddings, like my daughter's friends are getting married.
Yeah, the bridesmaids. Yeah. Do you go to those things or do they come to you?
So either way. Yeah. A lot of times they want you on site.
Right.
So you do it on site. I love doing a wedding.
Yeah.
They're really fun. But I only do my clients.
Right. You're not going to you're not marketing. Yeah. You're not promoting this.
Yeah. But I do love it.
It's so crazy. It just goes against everything I'm obsessed with.
But Ursuline, I have to say, Ursuline always did their prom on a Sunday, but I always dedicated myself all the way back to probably Kayla Miller. I went in and I did 10, 12, 15 girls. I would just knock them out for their prom because they didn't have anywhere to go. And they were my girls.
Yeah, no one's open. Yeah. So because I was stalking your Facebook and you don't post ever, but I think the last time you posted was 2012 and it's all prom hair. It's literally all prom hair. It's so funny. She literally, guys, when we're going to tag Avenue Cuts on Instagram because you do have an Instagram.
Yes.
There's only 2 posts and they're from 20.
Or is you sure it's not just Facebook?
No, you have an Instagram.
I do.
It does exist.
If I do, it's the young girls that work for me.
Somebody did it. Yeah. So let's also talk about, you are, again, old school. You're word of mouth. You're zero technology. And I've talked to Meg about this before. It kind of drives her crazy, but I think she's clearly embraced it. She's been with you 17 years. Like she's clearly gotten used to it. Tell us about your like lack of technology, how you book appointments.
Okay.
You explain it. It's crazy.
Well, first of all, I'm sure I can learn technology.
You could.
I just don't want to.
And you don't
and
feel
I
the
really
need.
I don't care to.
Yeah.
So I have the book, the old-fashioned book with the pencil and the eraser, and we have a drawer with a cash drawer and credit card machine. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to change it now.
Right. You're so deep into
I'm
this.
on the other side, I'm on the other side of my career,
Right.
not in the beginning. So why would I change it now? The girls tease me all the time, Kelly, when are we we're going to do it when you
own it, when you
do
buy
it.
me out.
or no, if you want to do it, then you do all the work.
Right.
I don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
Because
so she literally has a book in a drawer. I'll explain it because I've seen it.
It's on the desk.
It's on the desk.
Right.
Yeah. And when you call and you're like, I want to book an appointment, they open up the book. It's not like a Google Calendar. It's not like a Square app. It's not like that. It's a literal book. But like Meg said, she's like, people will text me and be like, hey, do you have anything open next weekend? And she's like, I'm home. I don't have the book in front of me. Like, she's like, I have to take pictures of it.
Right.
But then that's just the picture of that day. Right. Like if somebody asks 3 days later, it could be totally different.
Right. Call the
So,
shop.
yeah, call the shop.
Call the shop.
Yeah, so you're clearly doing something right because if you've had someone on your team for 17 years, like they're clearly happy. Maybe it's how do you keep her happy? Like, what's the secret? We have 3 agents on our team, and I would love for them to be with us forever, and I think that's ultimately the goal. But at some point, they might outgrow us. Who knows? Like, how do you keep her happy?
I think that respecting your employees is most important. Do we have times where it hasn't been easy? I mean, we're a bunch of women working in a hair salon. I mean, there are moments, but Megan's my person. I mean,
she's your girl.
She's my girl. And she's always looking out for me. And Rachel's right behind her. But Megan's, long time.
Yeah.
And I just think that we try to respect each other. I mean, there are moments that aren't great, but sometimes, not often.
Yeah.
But
they happen.
they happen. I would respect them and be fair and listen, communicate with them, encourage them to communicate with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think the way you're describing Meg is kind of how we are with Cole. And it's funny because he's in here, so it's weird to talk about him. But it's kind of how we are with Cole, right? Like he comes over to see our kids more than probably anyone else in our life, right? Like besides, I say all the time, Vince's dad and Cole are probably the top 2 people my kids like adore. And like he's become like family to us, it's probably the same with you, like picking up Teddy, picking up Madeline, like helping out in not just your business, but your personal life. Cause it's all blended when you're a business owner.
Yeah.
So did you always know you wanted to do hair? Like at what age did you want to get into it?
All right. Some people might not believe this, but I knew in 8th grade.
8th grade? Why?
At the
like
end
were you
of
just
my
into
8th
Barbies
grade,
or what?
I just liked playing with hair and braiding my friend's hair.
I hate it.
I was in 9th grade. No, it might have been the summer between my 8th and my 9th grade. I cut my sister's friend Mary Beth's hair, literally gave her a bob. And she came home from
intentionally
college.
or not intentionally?
No, she wanted.
That's
She's
what
like,
she
Kelly,
wanted.
will you cut my hair? And I literally, I did it with kitchen scissors, and that was like my first real haircut.
So you got like your high. You were like,
I was like, oh, I want to do this. So I did approach my parents and said that I didn't want to go to college.
right.
They didn't like that, but I said I would like to experience living away from home. Can I go to boarding school? And because my brother had gone, so it wouldn't be weird that I was asking that. So I went away.
I knew you went
After
to
my
boarding
freshman year of high school, I went for my sophomore and my junior year of high school to St. Cyril Academy in Danville, Pennsylvania. It was an all-girls Catholic boarding school. It was the only one that my parents would let me go to.
Why?
Because, St. Andrew's,
It's Catholic?
I think because it was Catholic, it was all girls, and it was in the area where my parents were from.
Got it. So close by.
close to family. And it was 2.5 hours away, but
Close enough.
yeah, close enough. And there was family close by.
Right.
So I wanted to
Where'd you
experience
graduate?
living away from home because of that. And then I did come home for my senior year, and I went to St. Elizabeth's, and I'm glad that I did. And I went right from graduating from high school right to cosmetology school.
Good for you. And we talked about this before, and I was like, pause. I want to talk about this on the podcast. Like, I'm not a huge proponent of college for everyone. I think
It's not for everyone. It's
not.
not that I'm against it my kids both went.
both
and
are,
they're thriving because they went to college, and education is so important, but education can also be an education in electric,
Right.
plumbing,
Yes.
hairstyling, like all of it. And it has served me well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, 30 plus years in business. And I really, I do a lot of kids, teenagers, kids, and then they become teenagers and now they're in their 20s and 30s and getting
me.
married. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I hate going to school or the college
They're
thing.
miserable.
And it's not, I always tell them, it's not for everyone. Don't beat yourself up. Like,
No.
just settle down, think about what's going to make you happy, what's going to give you some drive.
Right.
You might try a couple things, but don't be afraid to not go to college.
Right. I think the boomer generation, like my parents' generation, are you a boomer? No, you're younger than my parents, right?
I'm 58.
Yes,
I'm their age.
You might still be a boomer, but I think the boomer generation couldn't afford to go to college, so then they like forced that on their children. And I think there's this huge group of millennials now that went to college that shouldn't have gone to college, and now we're all just
their parents
riddled with student loan debt.
Everybody's paying this money, and
insane for these degrees that the jobs are not allowing us to pay them back, and we're just stuck. And this millennial generation, even like a little bit below us, and we're seeing it with the home buying process, these people that aren't buying houses because they can't afford them because their student loan debt's so high. And I just think like college is not for everyone. Vincent and I say all the time, if our kids want to go to college, we need to see a plan. Are we being a doctor? Are we being an attorney? Are you getting a degree that you're going to make money? And if you don't have a path, then you shouldn't go to college.
Well, and today,
Travel. You'll learn more traveling. Like,
if it makes you happy, well, that's not my theory.
No.
And with raising my kids, I was like, look, you're going to go to school, you're going to get a degree, and you're going to get a job.
yeah.
Like, no coddling.
No.
Because it's too expensive to.
You're getting kicked out of the nest.
Yeah. Exactly.
Our kids are getting kicked out of the nest for sure. I love them in the nest right now, but
Yes, of course you do.
I think a lot of the reason Vincent and I are both so independent and so driven is because we didn't have, anyone, like we say all the time, like we kind of started off on defense. Like we started out with student loan debt. We had to buy our own cars. We had to get our own cell phone plans. Like we started off on defense, where a lot of our friends started out on what we call offense. Like their parents gave them a car, paid for their college, paid for their cell phone, paid for their health insurance, paid for everything. And then they're, I'm going to go rent for $3,000 a month in New York City. It's like, what are you doing?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with
have at it.
Have at it. I mean, if you've got
Good for
parents
you.
that you can do that for you, that's great.
We don't.
I mean, no judgment at all.
Yeah.
But for me, my parents didn't push. I wanted to do it, and they didn't keep me back.
Good.
They
That's
said,
amazing. What
"Go
a
for
blessing. Are they still alive?
I mean, my mom is still alive.
Oh, duh.
Yeah, come on, Mary Kate. May want to bleep that part out.
It's so weird. Yes, I know your mother's still alive. Oh my gosh. So her mom was my middle school principal, right? They didn't call it a principal at the time.
It was
now
called,
they do.
it was like
Whatever. And she was my girl.
But she taught you history in
Yes.
7th grade. And
She
your
did.
sisters.
Yes.
She taught all 4 of you.
It's crazy.
Williams girls.
Oh my gosh. There's only like 3 people that have ever taught all of us. I think she's one of them. But yes, she's amazing. And yeah, was that a hard conversation when you did tell them you didn't want to go to college?
Well, I think they just kind of looked at me like, what do you mean?
Right.
My kid's not going to go to college. And I was
Right.
like, but I really want to do this.
Good.
So put your energy. I wanted to put my energy into that. Don't waste your money on me.
Yeah. That's so smart.
know?
That's so smart. So what would you say would be one of the bigger lessons you've learned since 1991? This whole story kind of began. What's like a lesson or a takeaway that you would love to pass on to the listener about owning your own business? And
Well, you need to know that it's not as easy. People think, oh, you're a business owner. Oh, she's probably rolling in it. It's not like that at all. You have so many responsibilities and financial responsibilities.
Yeah.
Taxes, permits, zoning. Like you have to be approved for everything, and
It's insane.
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I don't talk about that much because it's just part of
right.
owning a business. So
Yeah.
you do that. I would just say, be true to yourself. Do what makes you happy. All right, let me take that back, because get a job first when you're young.
Sometimes you have to make money.
Yeah, sometimes you have to make money. Get a job that makes you happy. But all right, so I'm in it, and Megan's in it, Rachel's in it. Work hard, play hard.
Yeah. So true.
And it's so important to have a life balance with work.
Especially as a mom.
I mean, we're owners
Yeah.
of a business, so we're really never off.
Right.
But we are to a degree that you have to put your family first, and your personal life first, because if you're not happy, then
they can't be. I know. I'm
then
a huge proponent
nobody's
of
going to
that.
be happy if I'm unhappy.
Correct.
So.
No, my husband has learned that over the years. If mom's not, it's happy wife, happy life.
Yes, exactly.
It's good advice. Yeah. And I think your first initial response of stay true to yourself, I feel like you've definitely done that, especially with not having to do marketing, not having your technology, right? Like you truly are staying true to yourself. And I love that.
Because it works.
Yeah.
It's worked.
How do you have a very loyal client base. I see the same cars some people are every 2 weeks, some people are once a month, right? Like, how do you keep your client base so loyal? Because I feel like salons, especially, there's hundreds of them. Literally, you have one like 2 doors down. How do you keep your people coming back? Like, what's your secret sauce, would you say?
We're fair.
Yeah.
We're a fair market with price.
Yes, I agree.
We probably should charge more.
You probably should charge more. I agree.
But I believe it's, how do you answer that question? They
love you.
They love me.
She said before we started, she was like, I don't want to come off, whatever. And I'm like, if you listen to any of these episodes, I'm very annoying.
Well, I can say
I'm very annoying, so you can be annoying.
Well, I have to say, my job's very special.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not talking about anybody else in the hair business. For me, Kelly, this is what I'm going to tell you. If I'm having a lonely day or I'm having not a great week or whatever, I get so fulfilled in my job by the people that come see me every 5 weeks or every 4 weeks or whatever, that I think that's what keeps them coming back, because they see that I respect them. I'm loyal to them.
They feel the energy.
Yeah.
It's good vibes.
I don't take off all the time.
Right.
If I'm going to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm working every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, well, I'm going to take off. And
Yeah.
I'm very loyal to accommodating my clients.
Right. And they know that and feel that.
And they trust me.
That's good. That's good. So in that loyal client base, I would say the person we recognize the most is we see the mayor out there in the GMC all the time.
Well, how can you not recognize him?
Literally the white head, the tall,
the good-looking
big black
mayor.
car.
The good-looking mayor.
Not my type, but
who has done an amazing job. I have to just give him a little
go for
shout
it.
out.
And I would echo it anyway, so go for it.
8 years of fantastic work, and congratulations to him. Today's his last day. So I got to give a shout out to my dear, dear friend. I have been cutting Mike's hair since I was 20 years old.
That's insane.
I'm 58.
Holy smokes. So how old is he? I don't even know how old he is. Yeah.
I think he's 80.
He's something 80.
Yeah.
So
he's not over that.
So how long has it been?
So I've been cutting his hair for 38 years.
Wow.
And he is one of my dearest friends.
How'd you meet? So
when I first started doing hair, I worked at the Shaving Mug downtown. My dad thought it would be good for me to be in a space where I can do a bunch of my dad's lawyer friends. So this is before you were
on Delaware Ave. This is when you were working for someone else.
Got it. When I was 20.
Got it.
Down to the Shaving Mug, and I did bankers and lawyers because my dad was an attorney, bankers, lawyers, and Mike Brzezicki was an attorney. And one told, oh, Bill Manning, and then so they were all like my guys, and all of those men, minus maybe 2 of them, all followed me, and then their wives and their kids and their cousins and their relatives. So I've kind of evolved with all of them, but Mike and he's very special to me.
Yeah, of course.
When my father passed away, he was running for mayor then. He was writing a speech that day, and he called me. I remember it was on New Year's Eve, and he said, "Are you busy?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm fine. I'm having a meal right now." But he said, "Can you come to my office?" And I said, "Sure, I'll come." And my father had just passed away the week before or whatever. And he sat down next to me kind of like this, but we were a little closer, and he put his hand on my knee and he said, "I know how much you loved your father, and I know that he was someone who made you feel safe. I'll be that guy."
Oh, that's so sweet.
And he has always been there for me.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I'm sure there's moments when I'm doing his hair that he's like, because I'm involved in the Civic Association, I'm always ribbing him all the time. Like, are you listening? Do you know what's happening?
Yeah.
So, but he's a wonderful person and he did a great job. So
we totally agree. Yeah. And I think, Yeah, he left his mark on the city. They just sent out like that magazine. It was kind of like his flex. It was like, hey, look at all the things
because
I've
he's
done.
a humble man.
He is,
and he didn't talk about it for 8 years.
Correct.
And he said,
went out with a
I'm
bang.
going out with a bang.
He went out with a bang, and we love it. We love it. And if he had run again, I would have voted for him. I thought he was amazing. But it is cool. Like does he come in every other week?
He comes every 3 weeks.
Every 3. So, but like we know when he's here because we see his big black car over there. He's a presence.
What are we going to do? We're going to have to call a secretary to make appointments for.
No, he's amazing. So what was it like cutting his hair though every 3 weeks? Like, do you feel like you had the inside track on the city?
Yeah, he obviously can't tell me, couldn't tell me everything.
Yeah.
But he would tell me what's going on and what he's taking care of. And he always, everything I asked him to look into, whether he could do it or not, he always looked into everything.
That's amazing.
For me and the 19806.
Yeah, especially. Would you say he is the one that inspired you to get into the Civic Association, or was that a long time coming anyway?
Well, the Civic Association thing happened by accident, kind of. Okay. But moving forward, I've gotten wonderful encouragement, and I've learned a lot by talking to Mike. Whenever I have a question about my Civic Association role, he's my guy. Like that's who I call.
It's the best resource.
He's helped me out with how to speak and how to. I was able to be an MC for Joe DePino, who was our state rep for many, many years, and his family. You know, she's my best friend, Mary Ellen, but the daughter of. And I got to MC and I got to introduce Mike and John Carney and Chris Coons and Mike Hare, and I was up on that stage like. Oh my God, I'm introducing like these really cool men. This is so cool. But
and now here you are.
And here I am.
I know. So you are the Civic Association president. So for those of you that don't know, 40 acres is kind of like, I think it starts at the bridge, right? 40 acres starts at Logan House. Union. Yeah. Well, Logan House is part of 40 acres, right? So it basically starts at, what street is that?
DuPont.
Yeah, DuPont. And then it comes over to Union.
And then it goes from 14th to Wawasset behind you.
Right.
Behind Lovering.
So that is 40 acres. And we get some heat sometimes because we kind of call this whole area generally trolley, and it is not. And I do my best to correct myself, and I've gotten better with it.
Your generation,
we grew up
going
with
out in trolley.
Yes, we grew up with this.
Even sorry if anybody sees this and is offended, but I call it trolley too sometimes. I mean, I grew up in my 20s going into trolley to go to the Logan House and whatnot. But as respectfully, as the president of the Civic Association, you know, it is 40 acres.
Yes.
And there's a pride of it. There's a lot of Irish immigrants that came here to the 40 acres. And a lot of those people still live here or they have inherited their parents' homes or their grandparents' home. And they're from here and they're very proud of the Irish immigrant part of the Irish community, part of the 40 acres.
Yep.
So I think it's important that people understand that it's not because we're being inclusive or what we want people to know that it's a pride.
Right.
It's a pride.
Yeah. And it's a different vibe. Like the Garments are, you know, potentially looking at a new home, and like, it's just a different vibe when you're on this side of the bridge versus that side. Not good or bad.
Good or bad, right.
It's just different. Like, it's a different energy.
It's a community.
Yes. Exactly. That's what it is. It's like I don't know. It's just like, it's this little couple blocks.
Everybody takes care of each other. I mean, Scott Street.
The best.
The best.
Yeah, we've sold, I think, 6 houses on Scott Street. It feels like when I walk down Scott Street, it's just like I've been in that house, I've been in that. It's crazy. So we're big proponents of the 40 acres. We love it here. The couple houses we've been looking at have been in the 40 acres. I can't envision moving out of this area. So it's tough. But we just love it here. So you've been Civic Association president since when? Was that like 2020? 2021?
I'm in my 4th year, I think.
Okay.
I think.
So 2020.
Yeah.
Because I remember
it wasn't during
when we voted you in. I was at the one when we voted. I didn't have the baby yet. I think I was pregnant. So maybe it was 2021.
So maybe I'm at the end of my I think March will be the 3rd full year.
Okay.
Maybe we're the 4th year.
Okay. Who knows?
I want to say it was March.
Okay. That sounds right. Okay. So how has it been? Do we hate it? Do we love it?
No, I honestly,
it's a lot of work.
It depends. So, I mean, because I don't want to scare anybody away from doing it, because if people have free time, they should be involved.
I agree.
When the 40 Acre Civic Association, when I came into it, it was because the people that were in before they had done it for a really long time and they were tired.
Yes, they were.
And so I was kind of approached, hey, why don't you run for president? I'm like, oh no. So I called Lisa Hempel, who's very prideful and loves her neighborhood. I said, hey, I'll do it if you do it.
Right.
Like, so
force her into it.
And I'm like, so that we can be like a team. Because I couldn't do my job without the knowledge of Lisa. I mean, she works for the city 30 plus years. She knows everything. So she's my ride or die girl when it comes to the Civic Association for sure.
Yeah.
But fast forward a little bit, we have a nice solid executive committee. There's, I think, 6 of us. Obie Klein's our treasurer. Myself, Beth Moore, next door to you. She's the vice president, secretary Lisa Hempel.
Yep.
And then I have Kevin McIntyre, Patrick Smith, and Kara Briggs.
Kara Briggs, yeah.
And we are such a good group. We get together, we communicate with each other. Sometimes we'll go out and have a beer and just chat.
Yeah.
Patrick and I just had done that to celebrate the 40 acres, but Logan House 160th birthday.
So cool.
So we're a good little group, you know? And when I went to go, the election was last year. Nobody voted for anybody. Nobody voted even for me because nobody wanted it.
You ran unopposed.
Unopposed, exactly. Nobody wanted it. But it has been fun. I have learned a lot.
Yeah.
It has actually been beneficial to me as a business owner as well.
Yep.
Learning.
Yeah. And I think once we're out of our child birthing years, at least for myself, I think we'll get involved. I think that's always been something, like, we go to those meetings. I've definitely taken a break since having the babies just because it's after bedtime. It's tough for me to get out, but pre-babies, we never missed a meeting. Like, we're very passionate about it. It's because so important. We can all fight all day long about Trump versus, right? Like all this BS, but where it really truly matters is your next door neighbor, your community.
And you can't have a voice if you're not involved.
Yes, you have to show up. Yeah, exactly. And then
that's my rule. I'm like, if we have a non-mandatory $10 dues.
Right.
But if you're not paying it and you're not involved and
showing up,
I don't listen to the people that are
me neither
just doing this.
Yeah, no, because they'll all complain about, oh, these new townhouses are going up. Oh, these new apartments are going up. And it's like, okay, did you come to the meetings where we talked about it?
Do you know the whole story? Because there's 2 sides to every story.
Right. When Angela Tassanis went to get permits for that building up on Delaware Ave, she was going to knock it down and build 10 units or whatever. The neighborhood rallied and cried and said, no freaking way. And what happened? A year later, she sold it to someone else and they redid it. And that was it.
Right.
Like, you have to show up, and the people that are just online on Facebook, this is terrible for the city. It's like, you don't come to the meetings, you don't get a say.
Right. And if there's things that are going to affect your day to day, or like Delmarva wants to do some crazy thing with their meters, put them on the front of our houses. No way. Like, we're going to fight that.
Right.
But you also, people need to go to city council meetings and, hey, let's be more thoughtful. Like, we talked about Airbnbs the last time, and everybody's argument, the ones that were on my side were, hey, we like Airbnbs, nothing wrong with them, but we need to follow restrictions.
Right.
There is no restrictions. There's no regulations.
It's a mess.
And we need to get that together. But we all came and rallied together, and the city council heard us, and they kicked it into January. So we'll be talking about it soon. Mm-hmm. But sit down, be thoughtful about how we make these decisions.
Yeah, and listen to other people's opinions. Like, sometimes those meetings can just be, cranky
and listen
people.
To both sides.
Both sides.
So that you can understand where people stand.
All right, let's say, what inspired you to set up as president? That's a good one. You already said that. Oh, this is a good one. How long have you actually lived in the 40 acres?
Okay. I have lived here since 2017.
2017. And you own your building?
I did. I purchased it 20 years ago.
Wow. So 20 years ago, how far in the business were you at that point? 91, 20. So you're like 10 years in at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And I my mom and I went into it with each other. Mm-hmm. And now I own it by myself. But we went into it together so that it's the best setup. She's in the 1 bedroom in the back. I'm upstairs in a 2.5 bedroom. It's
perfect.
And my shop's right there. So
it's a 3-unit building. So there's a front retail space, a back first floor apartment, and then a 2-floor.
And my mom has me to look out for her. But
amazing.
honestly, there's been so many years that she's looked out for me.
I know.
And even till today. I mean,
Yeah. She's the pillar of the neighborhood. She walks the neighborhood a ton. We see her out all the time.
We all, Mimi.
Yeah,
She's the Mimi of the neighborhood.
She's the best. She's the best. So you've lived in 40 acres since 2017. That's when you officially moved in.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your favorite thing about the 40 acres?
The community. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, even like 3 blocks up, I'm sure it's wonderful. But when I look out my window every day and I look over at the Garmin group and those guys you guys are all
Having another party.
having fun and like making videos and dance routines out on the front. I mean, you bring me so much joy.
We're a lot.
I love
our children running outside like crazy maniacs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm single. So for me, I have people surrounding me all the time.
Yeah.
Like, my life is full
and
happy and not lonely. And it's because I have a wonderful neighborhood.
This community. So let's get into some of your favorites, especially as a civic association president. I feel like your opinion holds a lot of weight. So what's your favorite? Are you a coffee girl?
I love coffee.
What's your favorite coffee shop? We can go Delaware. Doesn't have to just be 40 acres.
Well,
Or
Scout
Charlie.
cafes kind of become, they make
love
really
Scout.
good coffee.
You're the second person to say Scout.
Now, I buy my coffee most of the time from Brouhaha.
Nice, because it's so convenient.
They need to go a little faster.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
Sorry.
So Brouhaha like burns the beans is like their thing, and I'm not a Brouhaha girly. I like the experience of Brouhaha. I like their food. I like their staff. I like the vibes. But the coffee itself is not my favorite. But I love Brouhaha in general. Woman-owned business. Big fan of Brouhaha. What's your favorite like takeout spot?
Well, as of today, the Hayward and Finch
So good.
guys,
So good.
We got my mom's birthday dinner there.
Nice.
That's what she wanted.
Nice.
And I was watching her eat her hamburger, and I had like a chicken sandwich that was
Insane.
so good.
I know, the chicken
But
sandwich
I was
is so good.
salivating watching her eat
The burger.
that
Which burger did she get?
Just I think
Like the All-American?
I think it had mushrooms on it.
Okay. It's insane. Anyone that hasn't tried Hayworth and Finch,
It was
like, get
the
there.
smashed one.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So good. Huge fan of Hayworth. Okay. What's your favorite like sit down dinner? Again, Delaware. It doesn't have to be Charlie.
Eclipse is probably my favorite restaurant.
Really? No one ever says Eclipse. I like Eclipse. I've only been maybe twice.
And also,
but
I mean,
Platinum
that's
Dining Group is amazing.
yes. I mean, I would say like I've got lots of favorites.
Yeah.
Dorceo is probably my top,
Nice.
and then Eclipse for
You're bringing in new names. Most people say the same couple places.
Dorceo. Tony is
Dorsey is amazing.
He's awesome.
Anyone that has a soup flight, I'm in.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten the soup flight?
From Dorceo?
Yeah, it's so good.
So
It's
good.
So good.
I just actually had my niece's baby shower there.
Cute. I didn't know they did
me the
events.
side. No, they don't. I asked him if I could use the side room, and he was like, "Hell yeah, girl." She
runs this town. Okay, so Dorcia, Eclipse. Okay, and then what's like your favorite like small business to support, would you say?
I love Papa's Market.
Little Italy.
Little Italy.
Yeah. What do you get there?
So they have really good. When my son's home,
Mm-hmm.
they, when you make those old steakums, but like what do you call them? Like a little steak.
Yeah, like cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Right?
So, but they're frozen.
steakums,
So
yeah.
But he does the best chicken ones.
Oh.
So I buy them a lot when my son's home. But excellent sauce. Their lunch meat is great
Everything.
and fresh. I mean, I always do a drive by there after my grocery shopping and get my specialty stuff.
Oh,
there.
love it there. Any other small businesses you want to shout out that you love to support?
Wow. There's so many.
So
I like
many.
More Brothers is great.
Yep.
I go to Swig. I love Swig. Those guys are great. I miss my Hagen over at Wilmington Wine Company, but he's gone.
What's Wilmington Wine
that
Company?
That was a wine store on Green Hill Avenue, but he retired, so I miss him. That was one of my faves.
Where do you go now?
To Swig
Wine.
usually.
Swig, yeah. Nice. You're not like a Frank's girly?
I like Frank, and I go there.
I like Frank too. Frank did a big
I go there,
event
but
for
I-
Ursuline.
right.
And I got to know him through that.
No, he's my age.
He's a content guy.
Yes. He graduated from high school the same year I did, so I
Nuh-uh.
knew him back in high school.
Did he go to St. E's?
I think he went to Sally's.
Sally's guy. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a Sally's guy. Nice.
No, he definitely went to Sally's.
Yeah. Good family. Good guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of really great businesses here
Yes.
in the
Yes.
hood here.
Yeah. And that's what, when we first started Trolley Trends, again, we got a lot of heat, but like trolley to me is a mentality, not a place.
Exactly.
So that's why like I include some like Union Street businesses in that. Like I include some
Rocco's.
Little Italy, Rocco, right?
Oh.
Exactly. I'm trying to get Susan Rocco on the pod. She won't come on. I don't know why. But this year, it's one of my goals is to get her on.
I can maybe talk to her.
Yes, talk to her. Did she get her hair done with you?
No, but I love going in there.
Okay.
The Eagles there. It's
Yes.
the official Eagle watching place to go.
I love Rocco's. We love Rocco's. And I just want to get her on because I think she just has created such a special vibe there.
Yeah.
And I just want to get her on. Okay, so what do you want to leave people with? Any advice? Where to follow you? You want to promote your business? What do you want to leave people
Well,
with?
you can't follow me on
There's
social
nothing to
media.
follow. There's nothing to follow.
I just want to say thank you for having me.
Of course.
This has been long overdue.
Yes.
I love you and your family.
Thanks.
I love watching you all, and everyone that works for you is so wonderful.
Thanks.
So I just want to say, if y'all can have these guys as your friends, you're lucky. You guys
We're crazy.
You guys are the best.
We are crazy.
I'll end with, we had a wonderful snow. It was so beautiful here in our neighborhood, and it's a little embarrassing, but I did get my sidewalk shoveled probably 4 or 5 times by 3 different people. So every time I went out, it was gone. It was probably for Mimi, probably for my mom.
She better not be shoveling.
But my John Moore, who does contracting work, if anyone
Yeah.
needs good work, he's a great craftsman. But
Nice.
he was fixing something for me upstairs, and he's like, "There's a redhead down here salting your sidewalk. Boy, you're popular." But
We all just love you. We all just,
you are all loved as much.
Thank you. We appreciate your support. You're one of the best neighbors, I think, of all time.
Aw.
Between you and Handsome Joe, like, we are so blessed. And yeah, you said it before. My husband wants to chime in.
Yeah, one thing. We want to say thank you for getting our kids in swim lessons.
Yes,
Oh,
and
right.
she is responsible for getting us
Yes,
swim
all
lessons.
children should know how to swim.
Yes, with the
at a
best
young
of the
age.
best. I got to get Miss Peggy on in here.
Yeah,
I'm
Miss
going to
Peggy.
ask her, and she's going to be like, "What's a podcast?" So we'll see. I got to get her on. But thank you for coming on. Avenue
Thank
Cuts
you
is
so much.
amazing. If you're looking to switch it up, even just get a blowout, something simple. It's a great place to go. Call, and they will get you handwritten in their book, and you'll have a great experience. So thank you for coming on, and thank you for all you do for our civic association. We appreciate you. And that's another awesome episode of Life on the App.
Thank you so
Thank you to
much.
Kelly Hughes for coming on, and we'll see you next week.